It's bigger than Hollywood, churning out hundreds of hits every year. But when it comes to tourists, the star appeal of Bollywood fails to match.
On this week's program, we find out why.
This week, home to spectacular dance routines and dramatic storylines, can Bollywood reinvent itself as an all-singing, all-dancing tourist destination? We're on the hunt for good luck and a bit of magic in Bolivia. I go off the beaten track in Thailand. Plus, we take you on the ultimate Easter egg hunt.
Hello and welcome to the Travel Show with me, Henry Golding, come to you this week from Thailand. Now later in the program, I'll be leaving the beach and trying my hand at some high adrenaline off-roading here in Phuket. But first...
Forget Hollywood. If you want to visit the world's real movie powerhouse, then Bollywood reigns supreme. Crystal Larwood's been to Mumbai to see how the city hopes to turn one of its biggest industries into a top tourist attraction.
Mumbai is India's largest and richest city, an intense, fast-paced metropolis known for its high finance as well as its widespread poverty. But it's probably most famous for this. Bollywood. Its big dance numbers and glitzy costumes are known and loved everywhere. Named after a combination of Hollywood and the former name of the city, Bombay, Bollywood is the most prolific film industry in the world. India produces up to 1,000 films per year. That's about twice as many as the US.
Now, Bollywood is, of course, one of India's biggest cultural exports, and many of the most popular Bollywood films have been shot here at Film City. Now, this isn't just the biggest studio lot by far in Mumbai. If all goes to plan, this place could become one of the city's biggest tourist attractions.
Film City covers over 500 acres in the northern suburbs of Mumbai and has a range of open spaces where huge outdoor sets are built. Today, 52 separate shoots are underway, most of which are not for movies, but are for television programmes, like Lapataganj, a popular comedy series.
It's the best costume I've ever seen.
This month, the state-run Maharashtra Tourism Organisation will be opening up the site to organise day tours. Manoj Gosarani, a local tour operator, shows me around.
This is the place.
See what happens behind this.
I would love to.
Curtains, secret curtains, come on. We have realized and figured out that it's a large potential, and people, both the domestic and people from overseas, UK, Germany, all over the world, are very keen to understand how Bollywood works.
Yeah.
Let me introduce you. So he's one of the most, if you would like to actually, most popular characters in India. Very iconic.
I'm very honored.
He could walk on the way and actually there'll be a mob. I'm not kidding.
Central to the new tourism plans is the proposal for a very swish new Bollywood museum, currently under consideration by state authorities. It will feature a red carpet entrance and interactive exhibitions, and if all goes to plan, construction could begin as early as this year.
Here we go.
Travelling through the streets of Mumbai, it's clear there's a huge interest in Bollywood here. International hopefuls with stars in their eyes come to learn dance moves and hope for a Bollywood role. And from cities and villages across India, people arrive in Mumbai, known as the City of Dreams, to catch a glimpse of their favourite stars. This compound in Bandra belongs to actor Shah Rukh Khan, who's appeared in over 50 Bollywood productions and is known as King Khan to his fans. No sign of him today, so it's lucky these guys aren't too fussy, apparently. But the question is, could Mumbai become a popular film tourism destination like Hollywood?
Bombay is featured in all our films, but that doesn't mean that the Bombay that you see in films is anywhere close to real Bombay, one, or when it is somewhere close to reality, that's not a Bombay that you want to go to. Films that have these narrow sort of labyrinthine lanes where gangsters are shooting at you and somebody's pickpocketing you and there's like, massive violence happening around the corner. I can't see anyone saying I'd like to spend my holiday in that setting. So how Bombay is supposed to become a tourist center on the basis of its cinematic depictions? Shock and awe.
The new tourism push comes at a time when Bollywood is itself undergoing a radical shift.
This is Andheri, a suburb in the north of Mumbai, and it doesn't look like much. There's no big fancy studios, but this is the centre of what's becoming known as New Bollywood, where all the independent filmmakers are based. And tourists hardly ever come here. In recent years, these independents have been moving far from traditional Bollywood themes and are changing the face of Indian cinema.
Well, New Bollywood is, our films catering to the new India, the new youth audiences of India. And it's basically newer content, which is more Western in its format and outlook. Shorter films, less song and dance, edgier, maybe adult, and catering to 16 to 35 kind of age groups.
Siddhartha's latest project will use a poll on social media to decide the climax of the film.
So this is pretty radical. I mean, what's been the reaction from the old guard in Bollywood?
Old guard, obviously, they don't like what I do. They don't like me. For them, stories should be told the way they were told, with the same filmmakers, with the same actors. I mean, we all love our, film stars, and we all love our song and dance. But, I think change is evolution. You can delay it, but you cannot stop it.
The filmmaking landscape in Mumbai is clearly undergoing a shift, just at the time when authorities would like to have tourists celebrating traditional ideas of Bollywood. Can Mumbai become a new Hollywood for visitors? Well, they say anything's possible in the city of dreams.
Chris Delarwood reporting from Mumbai.
If you're planning to head there, here's some things you need to think about before you go.
Tip 1. Mumbai is a busy city and can be overwhelming at first, so allow yourself a couple of days to acclimatize before packing in the sightseeing. Tip 2. Bottled water is a must. High humidity and waterborne viruses mean having some with you at all times will make your life much easier. Tip 3. Escape the city. India is a vast and beautiful country. Beaches and rural areas provide a great respite from the hustle and bustle of city life. Tip 4. Check whether you need anti-malarials. Some parts of India are higher risk for the disease, so seek medical advice before travelling. Still to come, Michelle brings us all the latest must-see events from around the world. But first, here's this week's travel update. It's not what we often get to experience, life under the sea from the bottom up. But China now boasts the world's biggest underwater viewing dome, giving you the chance to get a 180-degree view of sea life as it swims overhead. It's part of a new aquarium in Guangdong province, which is officially the world's largest. It holds an amazing 5 world records and 22.7 million litres of water for its inhabitants to live in. A grisly discovery unearthed during London's $24.6 billion Crossrail project could confirm the site of a 15th century mass grave. Scientists have found that 25 human remains found under the capital's Charterhouse Square were victims of the Black Death. The pandemic killed more than 50 million people across Europe in the 14th and 15th century. And happy birthday to the Eiffel Tower. The iconic structure, which has seen an incredible 250 million visitors since it opened, turned 125 this week. It recently topped a list of most Instagram structures in the world, beating New York's Times Square and London's Big Ben. It costs €15 to ride to the top, where you'll get unrivaled views across Paris.
You know, I think we can all agree that there's no better treasure than good fortune. Unfortunately, luck is rarely tangible, or so we're led to believe. But here in the manic town of La Paz, Bolivia, there are witches, shaman, fortune tellers, and more, one of which I'm hoping can provide me with the proper treasure, some good luck in the physical form.
To understand Bolivian magic, you first need to understand Bolivian history. See, before the Catholics, even before the colonials, way back in the 1700s, the shaman was the arbitrator between people and God. White magic, black magic, all of these things were, and still are, a natural and vital part of Andean life. For you see, in Bolivia, Pachamama, or Mother Earth, is worshipped alongside the Virgin Mary and Jesus Christ, and she demands as much attention, which is why it's very normal to see someone attending church and then later that day offering up a sacrifice.
Now, normally, finding the dark arts in an unknown city might prove to be somewhat of an obstacle, but fortunately and somewhat ironically, located directly behind the Iglesias de San Francisco here is Calle de las Brujas, the Street of the Witches.
On these streets, locals and tourists alike visit any number of these shops looking for magical potions dealing with everything from love to money to, well, more love. But Flora, a Brujas herself, pointed out that she was just the pharmacist. And in order to be sold some good fortune, I first had to be diagnosed by a yatiri, a Bolivian shaman of sorts.
Yatiri es la persona que te avisa tu suerte, tu futuro, tu problema.
But Flora's yatiri, a man named Vicente, resided up in the mountains in the gorgeous town called El Alto that overlooked La Paz. We found him on a street that might as well have been called Shaman's Alley, nearly every door being marked with yatiri, telling us that we were in the right place. We were welcomed in and immediately got down to business. With some coca leaves covered by a large cloth, Vicente prayed, blessed them, and then began to read my fortune. Not in Spanish, though, but in the old Andean language of Aymara.
Nga caballero nga suerte paha kun kamate satkano kon ha ancha khasistoa takpachu ni khata ben ha makita caballero cuidado pe paciencia saltaña pawa.
And just like that, my treasure had a name, Condor Cha-Cha, the god of those who travel, one made famous by having its likeness in Peru's Nazca lines, and one that I could find back at Flora the Friendly Witch's shop, who had first sent me on my way.
Stay with us here on The Travel Show, as there's lots more to come, including my trip off-road here in Thailand. What these machines are really built for is off-roading, and that's exactly where I'm going to take it.
I'm Michelle Yana-chan, and this is the Global Guide with my top tips on the world's best events in the coming months. First, a cliffhanger, literally. This is the view from the new glass-floored glacier skywalk high among the Canadian Rockies. Opening in May, the viewing platform hangs nearly 300 metres above Smokta Valley, giving you a bird's-eye view of glaciers and mountain peaks.
Waking up to ash and dust.
For those seeking thrills in warmer climes, head to South Africa for the Africa Burn Festival. From April 28th to May 4th, the temporary town of Tankwa springs to life as thousands of campers descend into the desert for a mix of themed parties, live music and wild living. On May 2nd, it's the Nordic Championship in oyster opening in the Swedish town of Grebbestad near Gothenburg. The aim to open 30 oysters in the quickest time, ensuring each oyster remains intact and then presenting them perfectly in front of the judges. Last year's speediest shaka took 3 minutes 29 seconds. Beat that. Nairobi is getting on the move. Until now, mass transit in Kenya's capital has been confusing, with millions relying on an informal system of matatus or minibuses. Well, now there's a new way to figure out which matatu goes where, with the making of a sleek new digital map. Suddenly there's a newfound logic to behold in the de facto transport system, and a way to get across town more easily too. It's ethereally beautiful and serene, a Baroque French chateau on a manicured 500-hectare estate.
In your Easter bonnet.
The Easter egg hunt at Vaux-le-Vicomte has become legendary as organisers hide in the grounds 50,000 eggs or 3 tons of chocolate.
You'll be the grandest lady.
And following on from a successful event in London in 2012, New York City will host this year's Big Egg Hunt. Lasting through April till Easter Sunday, there'll be over 200 giant egg sculptures across the city, each designed by an artist, architect or designer. If it's action sports that you're after, then Austin, Texas is the place to be in June. The Circuit of the Americas will host the X Games, including the all-new stadium Super Trucks, Motor X and Big Air, as well as a world-class music lineup including Kanye West and the Flaming Lips. And finally, what do British Northern Soul and Morris dancing have in common? On the face of it, very little it would seem, but both styles will be pitted against each other at the Unrest Festival in Manchester, which runs from the end of April. The festival explores art, music and movement. The culminating dance-off could look something like this. That's my global guide this month. Let me know what's happening in the place where you live or where you love. We're on Facebook, Twitter and email. Until next time, happy travelling.
Most people come to Thailand to do nothing more energetic than to lie down and relax on one of its many hidden beaches. But if you're looking to raise your heart rate, then sometimes adventure is a lot closer at hand than you think.
I've come to the ATV park near Phuket to get an adrenaline rush jungle style and some expert tuition in quad bike off-roading.
So this is completely my first time on one of these things. You're gonna have to talk me through everything. So
Okay.
How do we start?
When you start, the key at the right hand side, forward. Yeah, key forward foot. After the key forward, then hand brake, foot brake together.
Okay.
Left hand side, the rest of it go forward.
Okay.
Okay, and start button here. Okay, press
Right.
it.
This is... Oh,
And then
superb.
when you go, Let's go to break. Let's go to break. Press the gas. Then you go forward. Ah, more gentle. Like this, like this.
Okay,
Sliding,
okay, so,
sliding.
okay.
Yep.
Okay. Jumping on the ATV initially at first is a little bit strange, I've got to be honest. You've got the stance of riding a motorbike, but you've got the added stability of the four wheels. And the acceleration, well, if you've got a heavy thumb like myself, it's a little hard to control, but you do get used to it. You do cover the basics pretty quickly. But what these machines are really built for is off-roading, and that's exactly where I'm going to take it.
Racing through the jungle gives you a sensation that's unique. The paths may be well worn, but a helmet is essential on a route littered with low-hanging branches and vines.
When you do take it off the beaten track, there are so many more dangers to watch out for. Hanging vines, loose rubble, and a lot of divots. But if you keep a cool head, you'll be fine.
Adrenaline activities are big business here in Southeast Asia, popular with backpackers looking to let off some steam. But the advice is to choose your operator carefully. Controversial resorts in Laos and Cambodia have been blamed for the deaths of several backpackers due to lax safety procedures. Here in Thailand, the advice on choosing a resort or operator is clear. Check their credentials before you sign up.
You need to see the operator is licensed or not. But you see the what we call TAT license. It stands for Thai Authority of Tourism of Thailand. That first you see the license, or also you ask for the insurance policy. They have the insurance policy or not?
Have you heard of cases where some operators do not adhere to these safety regulations?
Sometimes, yes. The safety is number one of everything. People who come here to have fun, of course, they want the safety also. Because if we are not safe, if something happens, customer have accident or something, they bring us the bad name. And bad name also bring bad business.
So that's one obstacle done.
Although reputable resorts will be properly regulated and insured, it's also well worth checking the details of your own travel insurance before you book, as some policies have clauses that exclude potentially dangerous activities and that could leave you with a hefty bill if something goes wrong.
This is a fine fox, it's about 110 meters
Right
long.
now, thankfully, the only thing I need to worry about is conquering my fear of heights before taking on the zip wire.
Okay, jump it off. Woo! Ah, that was exhilarating. Nearly got wet there at the last bit, but never mind. Sadly, that's all the time we have for this week. But of course, don't forget you can join us on our travels by following us on Twitter or liking us on Facebook. Well, that should be on your screens right now. In the meantime, here's what's coming up next week.
As tensions continue between Russia and Ukraine, Damien McGuinness visits Latvia to explore the abandoned secret Soviet bunker hidden under one of the country's most famous hotels.
And this is my favourite room. It's the office of the leader of the Latvian Communist Party, complete with desk and chair. Now you can tell he was pretty important because there are lots of phones on his desk. Of course, the red one is a direct line to Moscow.
Catch that if you can, but from me, Henry Golding, and the rest of the Travel Show team here in Thailand, it's goodbye.